Absolutely incredible. I just love the random explosion at the end that just makes no sense but makes perfect sense. Because
Oh yeah, storytelling at its finest.
We have another banger for you right meow. I just had to get that in there.
Yeah, for people who know.
Yeah, that's right. As always, your boys Matt and Heiner here, dropping another banger for you, as I've already said. But it's so important for me to say it again because it is going to be a banger. It's not one you're going to want to skip. So if you're feeling the vibes, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future shows, and make sure you never miss out on the most fun you could possibly ever have, talking about design, Webflow, and no-code dev. So with that, let's go ahead and start the show. And we can't start it without really investing the next, hour, just breaking down that clip we just watched, which was absolutely incredible. The moment I found it, and 2 seconds in, I was like, "This is it." I don't know where this is going, but this is the one we're dropping.
It's utterly incredible. I guess we have some semblance of a video editing portion of our business now with doing this show, and I'm just like, man, how much time did that take? How much time did that take? Did the artist we won't name names on, are they in a legal battle? Is that, if it's done in the tone of a cat, are you all clear? So I have a lot of questions, really. So no answers though. So we probably shouldn't go too much deeper into my train of thought, at least.
Yeah, was this unnamed artist? I assume he's more reeling.
Right. Yeah. Let's just say we forgot his name, and we'll research it this weekend.
Yeah, he's dealing with some issues with the show that just ended on
Right.
Max.
Right. I obviously can't tell who you're talking about, so you can let me know after the show.
That's right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and jump into our main topic today, and it's about AI. Everybody's talking about AI, so of course we are obligated to talk about AI ourselves, and of course, all of us being in the design world, that we're all, and not even just in the design world, honestly, just AI everywhere. But we're all probably familiar with the AI generated art. ChatGPT is probably the first thing that comes up when everybody thinks about AI, and we've seen it, pop up on the interwebs about people having fears and concerns. It's not just in our space, but particularly in our space, about how AI will ultimately just go full Skynet on us and just take all of our jobs, or all of our creative jobs. That's right. I mean, that'll be the only bright side, is that we can say that if that did happen, so we can all just show up at a town hall and just scream they took our jobs, but not have it be ironic. But with that said, we felt the responsibility and the burden to calm the masses by explaining how that this honestly won't happen, and we don't need to find John Connor and go with him if we want to keep living our creative lives. And we're going to do that with the help of ChatGPT. We're going to use some AI to help us talk about AI. So what we did was that we fed ChatGPT some prompts, basically everything we wanted to say today about how AI can actually support your creativity, not take over your creativity. We put all of our thoughts in there and how we can live in this new normal. and had it scripted out for us. We try to put our tone of voice in there as much as possible. So we're just gonna just read the script that ChatGPT wrote for us. Um,
Essentially, what you just said is the hottest new job on Twitter right now is a prompt engineer, which is just a person who's good at writing prompts for ChatGPT.
oh,
As
that's good
far
to
as I
know.
understand it, yeah. So super hot right now if you need a pivot.
Yeah, we'll see if we get to apply for that job because we put these prompts in and we have not read through the script. This is the first time we've read through what ChatGPT put for
We'll
us.
find out. I genuinely hope it's not significantly better than our normal shows.
So at the very least, the core of the message will be good. How it's gonna come at you, we have no idea. So let's go ahead, just jump into it, and let's get weird. All right, I'll set up what the ChatGPT said here. Opening scene: the host.
Enter
Hyde
stage left. No, just
the host Hyde and Matt are chilling on comfy beanbags in a trendy studio with funky artwork adorning the walls. All right, hey, welcome to another episode of Creative Corner /C Show, where we dive into the exciting world of design. I'm Hein, and I'm here with the groovy Matt.
This is what groovy people do. Hey, everybody. Today we've got a wicked topic to chat about. AI and its impact on the creative industry. But don't fret, fellow designers. We're here to show you it's all rainbows and unicorns, not robot overlords.
You got that right, Matt. So let's get this creative party started. First question on the dance floor. Can AI really support us designers without stealing our spotlight?
Absolutely. AI is like our trusty sidekick, helping us kick some design butt without hogging the limelight. It takes care of the boring, repetitive stuff so we can focus on the juicy, creative bits.
Whew. So, spill the beans, Matt. Can AI come up with cool design ideas like we do?
Well, Hein, AI is one smart cookie when it comes to crunching numbers and analyzing data, but let's face it, when it comes to creativity, it still needs a little human pizzazz. We designers bring the soul, the inspiration, and the funky dance moves into our work.
Eh, the, this is off script, but I'm glad it makes me laugh because there's no way I wasn't going to laugh there. But haha, you're absolutely right.
It's surprisingly dance oriented, which is great.
AI can't bust a move like we can, but can it at least lend us a hand with those mind numbing tasks like organizing files and making mock ups?
Oh, absolutely. AI is like our secret weapon, handling the boring bits while we ride the creative wave. It can organize files in a jiffy, whip up mood boards, and even generate initial design concepts based on our wicked preferences. It's like having a
You must be from Boston in this like scenario.
I'm definitely dance forward New Englander. It's like having a super efficient design genie by our side.
A design genie. I like the sound of that. But what about those who think AI will swipe our jobs faster than you can say pixel perfect?
Ah, the job stealing AI myth. Let's bust it once and for all, Hein. AI is not here to steal our thunder. It's here to give us a helping hand. It opens up new possibilities, boosts our efficiency, and lets us spread our creative wings wider. So no need to worry, folks.
You heard it here, folks. Keep calm and design on. Now, let's peek into the future. What does it hold for designers with AI as our wingman?
Oh, Hein, the future is brighter than a disco ball. With AI by our side, we'll unleash a whole new level of creative awesomeness. We'll take on bolder projects, push boundaries like a boss, and make real impact on the world. And hey, we might even have more time for snack breaks too.
You had me at snack breaks, Matt. Now, here's the $1,000,000 question. Can AI ever crack a joke as hilarious as our beloved dad jokes?
Oh, Hein, we're the reigning champs of dad jokes, and AI has some catching up to do. But who knows, maybe one day it'll surprise us with a killer punchline. Until then, we'll keep rocking the humor department.
That's the spirit, Matt. Our jokes are safe. For now. Well, folks, get ready to disco your way through the creative world with AI by your side. Before we boogie out of here, we got a couple more questions to tackle. First up, should creative clients be giving the stink eye to AI, trying to replace us talented designers?
Creative clients, listen up. While AI can be a helpful sidekick, it's no match for the magic that human designers bring to the table. AI may churn out designs, but it can't capture the essence, the soul, and the finesse that comes with human creativity.
You got that right, Matt. Design isn't just about pretty pixels, it's about storytelling, connecting with hearts, and making an impact. AI may be a tech wizard, but it can't grasp the intricacies of human emotion, cultural nuances, and diverse perspectives like we can.
Bingo, Hein. Bingo. So, to all the creative clients out there, proceed with caution. AI can certainly assist in streamlining processes, but it's essential to remember that true design brilliance comes from the minds and hearts of talented designers. Don't underestimate the power of our human touch.
Absolutely, Matt. Design is a beautiful collaboration, a dance between clients and designers. Embrace AI as a tool to amplify that collaboration rather than as a replacement for the creative genius that we bring to the table. Let's keep the grooves going and create extraordinary things together.
Well said, Hein. Remember, clients, we're the ones who can transform your vision into something rehinable.
That's a word.
Rehinable. Yeah. That's an ad lib. That was an ad lib. So join us in this creative journey and let us make some design magic happen. Thanks for grooving with us, everyone. Until next time, keep the creativity flowing, keep the dance moves fresh, and keep making this world a more fabulously designed place. Catch you on the flip side.
Closing scene, Hein and Matt high five each other and strike a pose as the camera pans out with funky music fading in the background, leaving behind an aura of creativity. I won't.
That's what the people would want. I can't stop it. There we go.
I will admit that in the closing scene, the part about leaving an aura of creativity, I wrote that part.
I don't know what it means, but I just love the idea. I guess I'm just hoping I'm always leaving an aura of creativity behind. That's like it's sort of my standard aura, if you will.
But no, well, that was the script. Normally we jump into our opening a can segment, but I think we can probably pivot a little bit here and maybe just jump into our nugs, including some of our initial thoughts and perspective, almost like a reaction video here to kind of
a reaction video to ourselves. This might be groundbreaking, not in an AI way, but like the same video. We're a real time reacting to ourselves.
Yeah, like we said at the top, we tried to include prompts that said to add some dumb dad humor, try to be humorous. We tell you at the top, we're trying to have fun here, and while there were jokes, I guess, and some personality in there, they weren't necessarily how we would probably say it. There was a lot of dance talking involved in there.
A lot of dance. That was unexpected. Like I tried to come in as cold as we possibly could and still have a coherent episode there, but it was the dance disco vibes that really caught me most off guard.
Yeah, busting a move was a huge theme here, and just to be clear, there were no prompts about telling ChatGPT to throw in dance stuff in there. So yeah, that was a bit much.
We'll have to talk to our prompt engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I want to turn the dance references up or down, though, to be perfectly honest. It's like, I don't hate it. It was just unexpected. But I don't know. I think probably what you're saying is it's very hard to make something rehinable. And I think that's something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah. There's the funky structure there of random non-existent words. So yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I think we'll get into it more with our nugs here, but at the end of the day, what we said is, while it was written in a weird way and was a lot of dance references, it was very helpful to have this thing write this script for us. I think we could have easily just had it start the draft, and you and I could have gone in and cleaned it up to make it really actually sound like us. And we're like, well, I'm not saying this disco ball thing, or am I? Like, it might be something I say, but clearly you would keep saying rehindable throughout the
Right.
entire
I mean, it's
episode.
definitely something I'm going to say now. So maybe there's this sort of like the ultimate AIs. It's just incepting like insane things into our mind that I find funny enough to just like actually bring into my vocabulary. And it's like, was it right? Was it right all along?
Yeah, yeah, and it was just kind of fun, just interesting seeing how like, it took the prompts that we gave in terms of like how AI can support creatives and how it went about trying to explain it, and yeah, it was just overall just an interesting experiment to try this out.
And what to your point, like, I think it's a new tool that's super handy that we're figuring out like in what use cases it's handy. It's like for me, it's mostly funny. Like the things you see, like, look how amazing this is. Like I've always wanted to see like, Elvis as a cat or whatever. It's like it's like sort of cooler than it is useful. And I think it's still like it's gonna have a hard time being like, you know, generating anything other than like awkward stock photos at times. And I'm sure it'll get better and stuff at that. But like you mentioned, I think my initial response as a bit of an early adopter of just things in general, I was like in there and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like it's almost just at least a little bit faster, like Google search, right? But you are sort of like assuming it's right, and that opens up that this maybe is a perfect transition. That opens up a whole can of like questions about like how much are we assuming this is correct, whether it's like a verbal or written response, or like what are the chances of the design principles are all like spot on. It's like you're getting something, it might be pretty good, it might not, but as a designer I'm still like, I gotta check this. It's my job. I would have just done it as I was building it myself, but now it's sort of like, okay, I don't want to just like churn this out and be like, oh, turns out the footer is an absolute nightmare, or whatever. So kind of opens up that thing. It's like, how right is it, and how much are we checking that it's right? Because it's like my cousin's a wealth of knowledge as well. Like he'll definitely answer every question I ask him, but I'm not so sure they're all bangers on the answer front. Some are probably better than others.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with that, I guess we'll wrap up the reaction there, and we'll go into transition in the way like you did there with the can. We'll jump into opening a can here. I got a quick can I want to put up in the air. I want to shout out our boy Aaron McCall. Um, just a just a mensch, just a dude, good vibes. Uh, he helped design a bunch of stuff for us, including the hot dog merch, like the hat that Matt's wearing. So if you would like one, we will put together. Let us know. We will put together an e-store for you to purchase one of these bad boys. And yeah, I mean, I could raise a can just for all the stuff that he's done for us before, but it's really the most recent stuff that I'm really stoked about. I mean, I think you are too. Um, I never thought I'd have the chance to say this, but we're actually brewing up a storm in the Huck Finch lab, if you will, and things are in stealth mode, which is something, again, I never thought in my life I'd be able to say it, but we got something like brewing in stealth mode right now, but we're going to be dumping some good news on you like a dump truck soon, just dropping loads.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it is super exciting. Aaron's work as like awesome designers do sort of made it like very real for us right away. And again, we'll talk more of that about that as we go, and hopefully it's exciting for everybody who listens. And we'd love to hear about it as we kind of go through this. Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. And this is like the worst content ever. It's like you and I know, and we're just sort of, it's like describing how tasty something is. But hey, the Food Network exists, right? On paper, for me, the worst idea for a channel ever. It's like you can't smell or taste any of this. What are we doing here? But yeah, so that's our Food Network segment.
Yeah, and this will ultimately be a episode in the future. But for those of you who already know that Matt and I both do brands and do graphic design, you're probably asking yourself like, why are you having somebody else do that for you when you can do it yourself? And I mean, the first answer is Aaron is just really great at what he does. So that makes it really easy. And this really comes down to craftsmanship at the end of the day. Is that like, yeah, well, we can, and we'll get into more in just like in future topics and episodes. Is that that's not really where we want to be known for. Is we want to be known, creating great brands is awesome, but we really want to be known for creating just really great websites.
Yeah, it's cool too. Just like the net collaborative effort of it all. Like, I think one of the coolest things, whether we're in the designer chair or, working with somebody like Aaron or whatever, is like we have to describe to them what this is all about. And maybe someday we'll describe like why this is a hot dog. But we have to describe like what this is all about, the spirit of who we are, the brand, whatever it is that the project is centered around. And it's so cool to get something back that's, you know, better than what you even like had kind of in your mind's eye, or maybe totally different than what you maybe thought, but is like, again, just sort of like a whole new spin on it. And I think, regardless of your skill as a designer or whatever it is, like if you could do it yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean you should. Just because it's so cool to bring in like super talented people to kind of interpret your brand back to you, or interpret, like, even if it's a merch project, whatever it is, it's like, it's a lot of fun to see it like come to life from a different angle or just from somebody else's perspective. And it's really exciting too when you get something back that's like right on the nose, like what you're just like hoping the spirit of it comes back. It's like, it's a little bit I don't know how you felt, like you did a lot of the like back and forth on it, but it's pretty cool to like it builds a little confidence that's like, hey, we kind of do know who we are. Like if we can like if we can prompt engineer it for our boy Aaron and have it come back in such a like, clean sort of fuss free effort, it's like, okay, like maybe we're dialed in, right? Or it's a confirmation of like we do know what we are, who we are, what we're kind of all about, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of benefits to that. So highly encourage even other people in the design area. It's like collaborate with others like on your own brand. It can be a really like fun, super creative experience. And Aaron really did bring the soul and the disco funk to the project.
Definitely, yeah. So we definitely really can to Aaron. Like, if you need some design help, need a logo, brand, we definitely hit up. We recommend you hit up Aaron. We'll put his link in the description below. I think this transitions us well into our nugs.
Yeah.
So obviously, we did this episode. It was a little weird and it was really stiff because we were kind of just going straight down, like, middle America, Randy Newman vibes, just straight. we didn't try to tweak it. We didn't try to edit it, and yeah, we just try to have fun with it on a really heavy topic and just try to make sense of something that, as best we can without the help of Ja Rule. But with that, ultimately, what was said, or what we said, it still rings true to like how and why AI is here to really support you. But we do want to leave you with a couple of nugs in our own voice, with the heart and soul of us, that you can hopefully rehineable in the future as you take your cats and travel into space. So Matt, what's your nug of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really to drive home like our actual points. I'm still like blanking out on whatever AI said about it. I think the spirit of it is right, but to kind of drive it home from my perspective is, boiling it down, it's like AI can get you started really quickly. And sometimes as creatives, like getting started is where the creativity starts. It's like just that getting the ball rolling. It's good to kind of get the ball rolling and get you thinking about it, even if you're like, man, this is a horrendous answer. It's like, well, you know what, it's not, or something like that. It's like you can sort of brainstorm, if you will, like really quickly. And maybe it saves you a meeting or something like that, or it just kind of starts the ideas going. But it's not going to get you a finished product. And like we all know, like the skill is in finishing. When you're a designer, really, it's the finer points of the things that really separate it from like okay and good, or good and great. And that's where all of us are spending all of our time building our skill in that area. And if you're not, you should try to get to that point of the craft as fast as you can, or as focused as you can, because that's really going to separate you apart, not only from AI, but from other designers, and let you be able to raise your prices and be more confident, if nothing else. So, and I wouldn't be able to have, there would be no Matt Hansen AI take if I didn't somehow tie it to an Allen Iverson AI basketball NBA reference. So the way I'm gonna try to pull this off is to say Allen Iverson, absolutely phenomenal player, couldn't win the championship by himself, much like AI. He just could not get it over the line. He was as spectacular as you could ever hope an AI to be, and still couldn't quite get to the championship, get that finished product. Uh, and that's my full AI versus AI like reference for today. Maybe I'll pop it into Chat GPT and see how it handles me talking about two different AIs at the same time.
That I applaud you. That was beautifully said. The fact that you were able to on the fly incorporate uh, the basketball god himself, AI.
That's right. And for people who don't know, it's the talking about practice guy. If you don't know him from the NBA courts.
Yes, that's right. Sadly, a lot of people only recognize him for that, but that was beautifully said. I think the other thing that we were getting to was when we were talking about Aaron is like the idea of like we had this vision, this idea of kind of what we wanted this thing that's in stealth mode to be and to look like, and he knocked it out of the park. But he only did it because we gave him good prompts, we gave him the direction, we gave him like good insight on kind of what to do, how to do it, and that's what he was able to work on. He didn't just make this up like as great of a designer that he is. He didn't just kind of just say like, don't tell me anything more. I got it. I know the name. I know what you want. Everything. Like here we go. You tell me you want a logo. I'll make it. So I think that that goes back to a lot of this is that like as creatives we've all worked with clients, and we can all probably admit that most clients don't necessarily know what they want, and so they're going to struggle to put together the right prompt in order to get this final product that they'll never be able to have, because it's like Matt said, it's great for giving you a starting point but not a finished product.
Yeah. And oftentimes that like process that we go through with clients is like, yes, they get a great website or whatever at the end of it, and that's obviously crucial, but they're answering a lot of questions about like who they are along the way. Like you said, it's like most of the time you're not prepared with all those things going in. Even if you think you are, you're like, our website doesn't work, or we hate it. It sort of starts with like much more general prompts. And then it's like, oh, okay, like why don't you send over your brand guide? And it's like, you know,
A what now?
sometimes you get some crickets there. Sometimes you get a brand guide that was like from, their first days building their business or whatever. So the process itself, I think a lot of the like certain hidden parts of the crafts of any creative project is like helping them refine really who they are. Sometimes that looks like a lot of rounds of feedback, depending on what it is, but a lot of times that's a lot of the value of it is for them. Now they have that feeling we described when Aaron's work kind of came back. It's like, oh, like I'm really confident in like who we are and the fact we're able to say who we are, and it's accurate to people that are not me and you, because you and I are not our customers and never will be. So that's just a really critically important thing to try to accomplish over time, and you can use great designers or brand projects to kind of do that.
Yeah, and the last note that I want to leave with folks here is it's gonna be a little more blunt, but at the end of the day, while we said that the clients shouldn't be looking at AI as a solution to basically find like I'll call it no cost labor in order to have a creative product like a logo or a brand or a website. While we say like that doesn't make any sense, there are gonna be those who are out there who are gonna try that anyways, and they're gonna try to replace us with AI. And the reality is like they're a certain type of person, and they're the type of person that you ultimately probably wouldn't have wanted to work with anyways, because there's probably a lot of red flags about how they maybe think they could do it better than you can or have some experience in it. And we've all kind of worked with that customer before, and that customer is never fun to work with. And the other part of it is probably one of the driving motivators of why a client would want to use AI as a solution is that they don't have money, they don't want to spend money, so that means they would have never paid you your worth. So you know, in a sea of great people, there's gonna be a few assholes in there, and there's gonna be some asshole clients who are gonna just see this as a solution, and you know, better for us all because we don't have to deal with them.
Or they just don't have the budget, right? Like if that's the best you can do with what you have and you're like bootstrapping something, you've got $200 in the bank, like it's not a good, we're not missing out on a good client there, like, or we're going to be doing some like crazy abbreviated version of what we do really well. It's really kind of fine, right? Like, if that's your goal is just to get something out there, learn something about your business and get it back to the piece of work on the product, like I'm not going to hate on you for that, but I'm also not going to sit around and say like, oh, like you're going to get even more bang for your buck, right? It's like you're going to get something and it might be good enough for where your bootstrap startup is or your app that doesn't even exist yet or whatever. Like, you shouldn't spend all that time working on a brand in that case. You should make your product into something and try to find some customers and see what they're interested in. So there are going to be uses for it. And I really kind of put this on the end of it. It's like we're probably, because of our background and things like that, we're a pretty tech forward, I think, design agency, at least from a curiosity standpoint, like looking for those types of solutions. So I think we'd be remiss to be like, oh, this doesn't have a place to sort of, or it won't as we go along. It could just be like another great tool. And I think most of us will probably be using it within tools we already do right now to make it a little bit faster again to get through that brainstorming part or whatever. So, I think there'll be all sorts of deeper opinions of like fighting against it or I would never use that or whatever. But just viewing it like a tool, like it's really nothing new. This is just a new piece of technology out there. We're all figuring out how it's going to affect stuff, but you're never going to be wasting your time trying to hone your craft as a designer, get better and better and better on that front. And that would be my advice pre and post AI, right? Like to myself or anybody else is like, just keep getting better at your craft. If it's web design, I always feel like I have so much more to learn. So just keep at it, and AI might help you a little bit along the way, or it might not. But it's like some people use Adobe, some people don't. Some people only used to use Figma, and then Adobe bought Figma, so you now use Adobe even if you don't, right? It's like you can't really fight these things. You just have to make use, try to put together the best tool belt you can for what you do and what your process is. And this is just another one of those things. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I'll finish it with a quote that I recently just like saw, and I think maybe connects to this thematically really well. Is that there's no need to kind of fret about this and worry about this. That's not gonna change where the world's going. And as Matt said, like there's a time and a place for all of this. And the quote is, it's not the falling in the river that kills you, it's the staying under the water. And just keep your head out of the water here. Like this is what it is. While we're having fun with it, we see the weight of this and the seriousness, and we have thought about how we can use AI to help us run a better studio and how we can help our clients. So there's room for it to be beneficial, and like anything, like there's nothing that's inherently good or bad. It's just how the sword is welded, right? So wielded. So yeah,
it's a great conversation. It's like we're just not having this conversation either. Like, what are designers? What are the skills we should be working on in this era, right? It changes no matter what the industry is, and this is just sort of it raises that question, like how can we be really valuable to our clients? And I think we all feel like we're adding quite a bit more than dropping a prompt in one tool or another. But it's great for us to be talking about it. If nothing else, it makes us think about being more creative or whatever. So
yeah, that I know we're supposed to wrap this up, but it just made me think too, like kind of asking yourself, like the things that AI are gonna replace and ultimately take over. If these are the things that you're gonna fret and worry about as quote unquote taking over your job, I think you might want to take a hard look in the mirror and be like, if that like what real value and worth are you adding to this project at the end of the day if this part of it can be removed. And I always kind of like like to think about, and from a food standpoint, it's like you can you can mince garlic by hand with a knife, or you can throw it in a food blender. Like there are reasons for both. But if a chef is looking at a blender or like a food processor and like it's like, well, that thing just took my job. It's like, I mean, if you think that that minced garlic is the thing that's gonna make or break your meal and the food that you're rolling out, you need to probably reconsider. Like maybe you're really not that valuable.
Yeah. And that's probably not the part to take a shortcut on as well, or like the most important part of it is like do that part that like only you can or to the best of your ability. So I love this conversation. I think it's something we could like do a live or have a guest or something, mess around with that someday because I think it's going to be ongoing as the tools evolve and as we sort of react to it as designers and as people also like that press the AI generation button publish those things live. It's like I know for a fact, at least where we are right now, it's like those are going to be problematic for them at some point. So it'll just be interesting to see how it plays out over this new thing. It's such a new technology too. It's like I don't know that we're going to really know for quite some time. So it feels like I'm mostly using it to write like scripts in the tone of Arnold Schwarzenegger and then laughing and then moving on with my day.
Yeah, we should do this episode again, but actually do it like as if we were going to do it, so we can kind of see it. Clearly, will increase the number of dance references in our actual script.
As we
But
naturally do, yeah.
yeah, yeah. With that said, we're gonna go ahead and just call it here. This dance is over. Another banger dropped. Thankfully, no kittens were hurt in the making of this, and yeah, you made it to the end. So either you were lazy, or you were to change you were too lazy to change the channel or the video, or you absolutely loved it. We hope you did, even if the script was a little like hard to go through to sit through as we read through ChatGPT script. But you're still here, so do the human thing by subscribing to the channel. We're gonna be rolling out more content like this weekly or not, maybe more often. Who knows? Uh, Time's a construct.
Yeah, just want to thank everybody like for doing this weird little show and spending 5 minutes of watching this video or whatever it is. Again, just keep sharing with people if you think it might be even just funny for them to listen to on their Friday lunch break or as we head into if you're heading into a holiday weekend, you're kind of doing that Friday afternoon dip out. Maybe we can help you. Maybe we can help you with that before you head home. But we appreciate it. We're a weird show. Hopefully, doing some helpful things along the way. So please share it, subscribe. It helps us out. It lets us know that we're doing something that's kind of interesting, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So thanks.
Yeah, and here's to feeling good all the time.